Hey, welcome to another video. I'll be covering a couple of the questions that I had so far from the community. Remember that the channel is open to suggestions about testing specific games or even apps, by the way. Or a couple of the questions that I had pending, which is how does my voice sound so excellent and eloquent and all that. No, I'm just kidding. There's an Ubuntu Arch and everything basically. There's a tool called EasyFX. Okay. By the way, I'm recording with GPU screen recorder. Beautiful app. So EasyFX allows you to be able to configure output or input. In this case, I'm configuring the input. And by default, for you guys to be able to hear me right, using this specific headset that I'm using, so you can hear it like in stereo instead of like a mono kind of thing. What I set up is the stereo tools here, and you can see the mode that I have it in, so that you can actually hear me in stereo. Then what I do is instead of wasting $1,000 on a super headset, I enable this noise reduction. Okay, it does the same level of noise reduction as a professional one. Okay, there's even a deep noise remover, this one, that depending on background sounds, your headset quality, all that, you might need to enable it or not. And there's also this one if you want to sound, you know, down here, you want to sound like a chipmunk, you go up.
Hey everybody, it's me, Alvin. Okay, and
Or you can do a
Barry White kind of thing, you sexy thing. See?
okay. So anyway, that's the easy effects that I use here. If normally I use it for the noise, the kids, work related stuff that's happening in the back, all that. One of the questions that I got was how do I make sure that a game um, works nice? In this case on Ubuntu. By the way, I put the resolution at 1080 so you could actually see it nice and neat. Remember that I have to use 4K for the cases where we're doing performance test. I mean, again, remember, let me go to here to the hardware. About I got a 5090. It would be a unless somebody's curious, it would be a waste of the 5090 on a 1080 when we're doing a performance test. So yeah, a bunch of RAM, which is golden now, basically, and the the CPU thing. So one of the questions was, how did I make Baby in Yellow work? Or basically, it applies to all the games. So the only things that you gotta do once you got your Ubuntu installed and you've actually enabled the latest drivers, which by the way, you can just type driver, okay, and you'll get this thing here where it says additional drivers. You can click on both, by the way, it doesn't matter. But if you click on additional drivers, it'll take you here. And since I would say 2410 more or less, this works the same way that you will be installing on app install, X server, sort, whatever, or just the Nvidia driver version. It's the same thing. Okay, so it's more friendly. You don't have to memorize the commands. I do because I'm used to it, but you don't have to memorize it. And you can see that because I'm on 5090, or basically the 500 series. I click on the open kernel one or the open more or less version of it. The 5080, boom boom, that install and did everything. I reboot it, and I got my 5080 here. I haven't set up anything like I could go like through it, and you can see that there's nothing customized here. Okay, it's just the normal stuff there. Then you install in Steam. You can install in Steam using Snap, Flatpak, the Debian version. I don't care. I don't care which one. Then you go to Steam settings and you scroll all the way down where it says compatibility and you enable Proton experimental. I mean, you can enable the the default one there, but just experimental. It always works. Like rarely will you see an issue with one of the specific games that you have there. Rarely it happens, but it's rare. Um, Steam will tell you to reboot. After you reboot the whole thing, you're done. Now, there are some games that by default are native for Linux. Okay, sometimes the native version doesn't work for co-op games, LAN games, online games, something like that, and you have to force it into Proton Experimental. Case in point, Stardew Valley. I go to properties. If I remove this, it'll try to use the Linux version that it has, but my kids have had issues at the networking level, like inside the internal LAN connections here. So the quickest fix was just forcing the Proton here, experimental on it, like literally here, even though we already set up at the global level with the Steam settings, and that fixed the issue. That also fixed the issue for I think two more games. I forgot which ones. And Baby Yellow, for example, I just installed Baby in Yellow right now. I don't know if it's gonna work. It's not the compatibility is not enabled here. Let's test it. Yeah, sure, the maximum one. Let's see how that one goes, and we'll see if it crashes or not crashes when it's loading and stuff like that, because that was related to the questions. Holy mother of, that's a really, well, the Mango HUD was literally made for 4K. Like I configured the whole thing for 4K. That's why it shows super huge right now. I just hide it.
This is Crown Childcare, the gold standard in babysitting. You have one new client message. Oh, hello, it's Casilda from apartment 10. Oh, thank you for the last sitter. They went down a treat. I'm off to a concert tonight. Could someone pop over and check in on my little prince? I'm sorry it's so last minute. Take care. Thanks.
I know it's this one because I already played the game. I'm just curious to what. What's that sound? Okay. Yeah, okay. I'm just checking in, just in case. Okay. Oh yeah. Again. Okay. Yeah, let's go. Bunny. Anyway, the game works. You can see it works. But let's say that it fails. Something happens and it fails. You go here, compatibility. You change it there. Sometimes when you do that change, it tries to download like a different version of the game. And also notice that when you use Proton versus the native one, you actually get better FPS in a lot of the games that I've been testing. Like Shadow of Tomb Raider. Like what the hell? So Proton works better there.
This is Crown Childcare.
Okay, so that's basically it. Very straight to the point. If you want to control the audio, your audio, and avoid paying for a very big headset, noise reduction here with easy effects, this new version that they have here. Now you know how to install the Nvidia drivers. AMD already comes with Mesa, and I'm using GPU screen recorder because it's the best. And now you also know how to configure globally the Proton. If you go to settings, compatibility, boop, you change it there, you reboot. One thing that I would recommend is, where's the download thing here? To disable this, unless you have a lot of space. This shader doesn't really. I know it says games to load fast. It doesn't. Yeah, they don't load faster. I haven't seen a single case out of 400 and something games that loads faster with this enabled. And improves frame rate. Yes, I also haven't seen that. If you have a specific game that I can actually test live, like I always do, let me know so I can do the shader with and without the game and see if it loads faster and if the FPS is higher. With that said, I hope you like the video. Think positive as always.